Caylon, what's up, man?
How are you? I'm good.
Good, Brian Thornton. So take me back, Magnolia, Texas, right outside of Houston, baseball guy.
Yeah.
Talk to me about kind of your upbringing, man. You know, how you fell in love with baseball. We'll start there before we even get to how you ended up here at UTA.
Yeah. So, I mean, my dad put me and my brother in baseball since we were like 5. We moved from Waller, Texas, which is about 30 minutes south of Magnolia, and then we moved to Magnolia, and then Magnolia West. That just bloomed that was where probably I hit my real stride is senior year of high school baseball. There was a lot of eyes got opened. A lot of I told you my hair was all blonde. That was playoffs was whenever it really. That's kind of how I got to here is just playoffs, and then we won a state championship there. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, winning a state championship. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Okay. So you said that kind of the state championship, state tournament was what kind of propelled you. You were having a good year, obviously, number 2 pitcher on a 5A team that wins the state.
Yes, sir.
Why UTA?
Clay Van Hook, Mike Taylor, Mike Trapasso, I think are some of the best guys you could probably meet. Even Ben Brazil. It's an outstanding staff. It really is.
Now, obviously, Coach Van Hook, he's fairly new to UTA.
Yes, sir.
And he had tremendous success as an assistant coach. At what point did that recruiting process start for you where you got to know Coach Van Hook and, how did he recruit you that made you feel like this was going to be home?
It was a phone call late August, so it was really late in the recruiting season. Got a call, introduced me to him, introduced me to some of the staff, came up here on a visit, met with all the other coaches, took me around, showed me around, got into the details, nitty gritty, and then it was just the whole process throughout. It was really awesome.
Now that you're here at UTA, there's something that you do that's really special from an academic standpoint.
Yes, sir.
You're an engineer major.
Yes.
Which is an extremely challenging major. As we were talking earlier, you were walking me through your day.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through that again in terms of what the beginning of your day looks like all the way through the end? And this is just a normal Monday.
Yeah. So Mondays are the most packed. So I have 8:30 to 9:15. I have lift, and then I go at 10 to Calc 2, and then I have a Calc 2 lab from 11 to 12. 1 to 3:50, I have a mechanical engineering lab, and then 6 to 9:50, I have a chemistry for engineers lab, and then after mechanical engineering, I got to do throwing and hitting. So
when do you eat? When do you rest?
At night.
At night.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're running around all over campus.
Yes, sir.
Having a class that goes to 10 o'clock at night is serious.
Yeah, that's a long one.
It is a long one. And I would imagine that a lot of the people that are in your classes aren't also doing all the other stuff you're doing from an athletic standpoint as well.
Yes, sir.
So talk to me a little bit about, why engineering and what do you want to do with that post-college? I know it's still early.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to switch it from mechanical engineering to architectural engineering, and then I'm doing internships this summer for an architectural firm, and I'm going to try to eventually be able to run that place and be able to run that business.
After you pitch, and I played a little bit of baseball growing up, but I stopped before I got to high school. Frank Thomas was my favorite player, the Big Hurt.
Yeah.
And so I patterned myself after him. I played first base. I had some power, but it didn't turn out to be my sport. But I still love watching baseball. Were you always a big baseball fan growing up? Did you watch major leagues? And if so, who are some of your favorite players that you watch growing up? And who do you try to pattern yourself after?
I really like Alex Bregman. I think he's a really good worker. He's a big Astro.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Every kid has their moment with Mike Trout.
There you go.
Just because how outstanding he is and the work he puts in. So those are probably some of my top ones.
We play our championship in Mesa, Arizona at the Oakland A's, or I guess soon to be Las Vegas A's.
Yeah.
baseball field. So it's always really cool to me spending some time there, and I always go to our baseball championship, for all of our student athletes from the WAC to get an opportunity to play in a minor league park.
Yeah.
Is that something that excites you?
It's super exciting, especially last year in the state championship when we played that. That was at Del Diamond, it is the Rangers AAA park, and I mean it's just an awesome atmosphere. The things to be able to see that, it's outstanding.
Well, I've obviously asked you several questions, and I've really enjoyed kind of getting to know your journey as both a pitcher here at UTA, but also how you focus on your academics as well.
Yeah.
But I want this to be something. Feel free to ask me whatever you want as well.
So, everybody in college athletics, as of right now, has some thought on NIL. What do you have?
Look, that's a great question, first of all. I do think that NIL is something that is probably long overdue in many respects. I think that student athletes having an opportunity to capitalize on who they are and what they do is something that they should certainly have the opportunity for. I think what has been crazy in the last couple of years is how so many things kind of converged at once. NIL is one thing, which I think is a good thing, but when you combine NIL with the transfer portal at the same time, it's like been combustible, where you have, guys that are, or young ladies that literally are transferring to a new school every single year, which, I can understand, the bright lights of transferring. I was a transfer student athlete myself back in the day when you had to sit out. But I can understand the allure of doing that when you go to a new place. Maybe you make some money, you get some of those aspects. Yeah. But I think what's lost is the continuity. I think what's lost is like the long-term relationships that people have an opportunity to build. I think that's one of the benefits about college and playing college athletics is the relationships that you build over the course of time. That you come in with a class of freshmen and you go through some lumps together and you kind of have to fight through adversity, and maybe you win, maybe you lose, but you have that experience of growing and developing year after year. And then when you walk away with a band of brothers, so to speak, or sisters if you're a young lady, that you kind of went through some battles together, and hopefully those are lifelong friendships that you can carry out. But now it's like kind of glorified free agency in many respects, where people go from one school to the next school to the next school, and you never really kind of get that fabric where you really build those relationships over the course of time. And I think that's the only disappointing thing for me in this kind of new landscape that we're living in. No, I appreciate you spending some time, man. I know that today, of all days, is one of the days that you have a million things going on, and I appreciate that you were able to carve out an hour to spend some time together and for me to get to know you better. I look forward to seeing you on the diamond.